Time to replace the battery in my copy of Pokemon Emerald, but this time with a twist. Years ago, I did a video showing how not to replace one of these batteries, and I sort of changed the thumbnail and title to reflect that, because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was following some crappy tutorial, basically using electrical tape to hold it in, and then the pressure of the cartridge being closed kind of kept the contacts where they had to be, but it was kind of flaky at best, and very ugly. And then at some point after that, I replaced it here properly by soldering in, but this time, I got these cool new little battery holders. We're going to try to solder one in. And I think I got these off of handheldlegend.com. I highly recommend them. They have some good stuff. But this should be the last time I have to do any soldering in this cartridge. Because then we'll be able to pop in a battery. And then if it ever needs replaced, just swap it out very easily. And it uses the ECR 1616 little coin-sized batteries. But first, I just have to desolder the old one, which, you know, isn't the hardest part. You know, my soldering skills are very basic, so this is, you know, a pretty easy soldering job comparatively to some other things I've attempted in the past. But once we got the old one off, we can just clean up these pads a little bit here so they look a little nicer. And then we should be almost ready to attempt to solder in the little battery holder. And that chip right there in the center kind of makes it a little tricky, because it's not able to lay perfectly flat. But, you know, we glob on enough solder, it will get the job done. Glob it in just to hold the connection where it needs to be. And just make sure you get the positive and negative, you know, soldered in properly. Don't want to get it reversed, because then that gets trickier. But overall, it's pretty straightforward of a soldering job. And once it appears to be secure enough, we should be good to pop in a battery. But yeah, it's a little, it's, you know, not my best work, but, you know, it's in there. There you go. And as long as the little tabs in there are holding it down, it appears to be pretty secure. And you gotta make sure the little metal tab that's on the left right here actually is sticking up and start touching the top rim of the battery, and that little forked metal piece on the other side is underneath touching the negative side. Because if you don't get those contacts where they need to be, then the battery won't supply power as it should. But once it's in there like that, you can attempt to close up the cartridge here. Yeah, with the holder, it's a little bit of a tight fit. So if the cartridge is bulging a little bit, it's not the end of the world, but looks like it's pretty flat. But there's like no room to spare in there. But once it's all closed up, and you put the screw back in and everything, we can test it out. And what we're looking for here is to no longer see the message saying the battery has run dry. Once we get past this title screen. And, perfect, look at that. We have successfully swapped out the battery, and I should never have to solder this again. If I ever need to swap it, I can just exchange it very easily. But I think I'll wrap things up for now. Hope you enjoyed this quick look at my new preferred method when swapping out a battery in a Game Boy Advance or even in the original Game Boy or Game Boy Color cartridges. But I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.